Good morning. Let me begin by giving a warm welcome to the 2023 SIMATS Women's Day celebration attendees of this day. On behalf of our organizers, I would like to invite the distinguished and eminent guests of this day to take their seats on the dais. No greater jubilation there is to invite our dear Vice Chancellor, Dr. Chadaram Sivaji, to the dais. Welcome, sir. I next take the privilege of inviting our dear Director, ma'am, Dr. Ramya Deepak, onto the dais. Welcome, ma'am. Let's give a standing ovation to these visionaries of Savita Empire. We would like to invite Dr. Radhika, the coordinator, on dais. Let's put our hands together. Today we have empowered frontline eminent women leaders in our midst to grace this occasion of Women's Day celebration. Pleased to welcome our chief guest, Mrs. B. Kayalvili, Deputy Registrar of Trademarks and GI, to the dais. Welcome, ma'am. Let's give a loud round of applause, guys. I welcome our guests of honor, Mrs. Ambal Saravanan, HR Strategy and Motivational Speaker, and Mrs. Jayaprada Ganesh, Scientist G, Additional Director, Information Technology, to the dais. We will now maintain silence as we will now begin the program. I would now like to invite our dear Principal, sir, Dr. Ramesh, to the dais. We will all now rise for the Tamil Thai Valtu. Then a woman determined to rise. Simeon snapped, "One is not born a woman, but becomes one." They say little girls with dreams become women with vision. Our director, ma'am, Dr. Ramya Deepak, wanted our little girls to welcome our dignitaries on this big stage, on this auspicious occasion. Here we have Darshini, final year CSE, to deliver the welcome address. Darshini.
Thank you so much, ma'am. A very good morning, dear ladies and gentlemen. Michelle Obama quoted once, "There is no limit to what we, as women, can accomplish." A very warm welcome to the International Women's Day 2023 on behalf of the organizers of SIMATS. Today, I believe there will be no limit to the inspiration that will flow from the words of these living legends over here. I'd like to begin my welcome address by wishing you all a very happy Women's Day. I am truly privileged to be standing here and given this amazing opportunity to welcome our distinguished guests on dais. On behalf of everyone present here, I heartily welcome the torchbearer, our very own heart of SIMATS, our very own Chancellor, Sir, Dr. N.M. Veerayan, our supportive Vice Chancellor, Dr. Chadaram Sivaji, and our influential, empowered, and empowering Director, ma'am, Dr. Ramya Deepak. Without you all, SIMATS would have never seen or never been where it is today, in the forefront of academic institutions. I extend a warm welcome to our chief guest, Mrs. B. Kayalvili, Deputy Registrar of Trademarks and GI, and our guests of honor, Mrs. Ambal Saravanan, HR Strategy and Motivational Speaker, and Mrs. Jayaprada Ganesh, Scientist G, Additional Director, Information Technology. I also welcome our staff, students, and all the radiant women out there. Thank you so much.
We will now request our dear Vice Chancellor, sir, to deliver the presidential address.
Very good morning to all of you. Kalai Vanakkam. Very good morning. This is a great honor for me to address this very eminent gathering here, taking the dais, and my dear students and faculty, and all my faculty members of this SEMATS, my dear ones and students, ladies and gentlemen. So dignitaries on the dais, Amba Madam, and then Jayaprada Madam, and then Kalaivili Madam, our own Ramya Madam, Dr. Ramesh. With all of these presence here, your esteemed presence among all this audience, which made this Women's Day very colorful, Madam. And also, coincidentally, today is a Holi, is a festival of colors. So bringing more ambience and more colorful ingredients into this great Women's Day, International Women's Day that we are celebrating in this college premises today. I don't need to tell the importance of this Women's Day 2023, but for the benefit of the chief guests here, I would like to mention here our Honorable Chancellor, Dr. N.M. Arian, has given the foremost importance to the women faculty and women and students of this college. So needless to say that we have, among all our deans, madam, we have our director, madam, is there always. And then more than 50% of our 13 Confucius colleges principals are women. Our law college principal is woman. Our management college principal is woman. Our own registrar is also woman. And here our SCAD, School of Architecture College principal is woman. And many other, we have prominent women doctors in this college, women engineers. And I think more than 45% of the students as well as our faculty members are women. So this shows the importance that the management and this college is giving the priority to the women. Even the entire country also, our Honorable Prime Minister's cabinet, we have more prominent women leaders as ministers in this country. Traditionally, all Indians respect women. We have great women personalities, even in the prehistoric days. Our own Jhansi Lakshmi Bai, the great warrior who fought for the freedom against the British, and several others. We have our own principal of School of Liberal Arts and Sciences just arrived here. And we have celebrated, we are celebrating this great day today. And all of us, on behalf of this great institution, Savita University, I welcome you, all of you, to celebrate this great day in our own campus. I have never seen such a huge gathering of the students and faculty, particularly women, in this Nalli Arangam. And it's a great day, and it should not be ending here. Women have to come forward in all the fields and all the walks of life in the present day. So therefore, even the students also, we have great Indian astronauts and great Indian scientists. And you name any kind of discipline or any kind of profession, so women are basically coming up, and we are giving lots more priority to the women for the equality of the women. And we all have our sisters and mothers and daughters They're all doing fairly well. And even my own daughter is also a MBA from Indian School of Business, Hyderabad. Now she is working as a director in some multinational company in Hyderabad. So we are giving a lot more priority to the woman in every walk of life. And I'm really great and proud to be standing before all of you and to address all of you on this great occasion. This is a great honor and privilege for me to address this gathering. And our Chancellor, sir, is actually engaged with other very, very important program. He couldn't come, but otherwise he would have loved to see all of you, this huge gathering at this premises. So with this, I would request our Honorable Chief Guest and Guest of Honors for today's function to visit our college, constituent colleges, particularly in this campus, to have a feel of our students' activities and then the great facilities that we are having. I also want to share at this moment in time, today only we have received very important credentials to this college. We are number one in number of publications in the Scopus Index journals. And this is a great news. And we have even, Madam, we have surpassed the Harvard University also. We are number one globally in the Scopus publications. And also we have several credentials in the year 2022 also. We are also number one for our dentistry in the NIRF 22 rankings. And we also stood up as a global number 18 in the QS 22 rankings. So these are all credentials. Today, coincidentally, because of the support of all of you and presence of all of you, on this very International Women's Day, we got this very great news that we are actually number one across the globe for the Scopus Index journals. This is a great moment to celebrate. We have double celebrations today, rather triple. One is the International Day of Women. We are celebrating in our own campus. And also the Festival of Colors, the whole country is celebrating as a Holi. And then another celebration is that we are number one across the globe for the Scopus Index journals. So this gives a lot of inspiration to all the young minds here sitting, and we are actually looking forward to great careers in your future. And this branding is very important for you, since all of you are students of this university. So you go anywhere and you will be recognized as a cementarian, as an alumnus of this great institution. So therefore, take pride in studying here and being here in this very campus where you will be recognized as one of the great personalities in your future. So I request all of you to come forward and be the woman of the CIMATs, and future you have to bring more laurels to this great institution. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Extremists have shown what frightens them most, the girl with a book, said Malala Yousafzai. We thank these academicians of Savita for putting books in the hands of women. I now invite Ms. Divya Prabha, final year biotech student, to introduce the chief guest of the day, Ms. Kayal Willi. Divya, over to you.
Beloved, esteemed educators and my fellow mates, it is my pleasure to extend a warm welcome to this distinguished gathering. It is my honor to introduce our honorable and esteemed chief guest, Mrs. Kayal Willi, Deputy Registrar of Trademark and Geographical Indication for Sumat School of Engineering International Women's Day Celebration 2023. Mrs. Kayal Willi's impressive educational background, which began at Vedaranyam Government Middle School and continued through Government Law College in Tiruchirappalli, is a testament to her commitment to excellence. Her dedication to the legal profession is demonstrated by her enrollment with Tamil Nadu and Pondicherry Bar Association in 2001 and her exceptional practice in civil laws, which includes advocating for justice for all classes of cases. Mrs. Kayalburi is a woman who is a trendsetter. She is passionate about empowering women in all walks of life and is actively involved in legal advisory groups and other organizations to help provide grants and loans to women in need. Her compassion and motivation has earned her the respect of her colleagues and the community she serves. As a mother, she is an inspiration to her children who admire her grace, humility, and unwavering commitment to her responsibilities. She has touched successes and accepted her losses as experience and lessons, and that has helped her reaching out many in distress and emerge with flying colors. Mrs. Kayalburi had joined the Office of Controller General of Patent Design Trademark as Deputy Registrar through UPSC in the year 2021 and since then has been the exemplary performer throughout. She has assumed the charge of the head of the department trademark recently and is looking ahead to face the challenges and to shape the concerned department in the better interest for our country's development. Dear Kayalburi ma'am, your accomplishments and your journey inspires us all to be the best versions of ourselves. Your unwavering commitment to justice and your advocacy for women's empowerment make you a true leader and a role model for us all. It is nothing but an honor and privilege to have you here with us, ma'am. Without taking seconds away, I hand the podium to our chief guest of the day. Would you all please join me in welcoming our chief guest?
Very good morning, one and all present here. Wish a happy Women's Day to my courageous women. I am very thankful to management because in this morning, in 9 o'clock onwards, we are took back to our childhood days. Very good infrastructure of your college. We all are very admired, so very thankful to management and the faculties and students and all. As we have gathered for today, International Women's Day 2023, I'm so proud and happy about the panel discussion girls who proved their excellencies in their professions. So I am proud and happy. As a self-inspired and empowered woman, I hail from Vedaranyam, that is very rural area. After completing my school, I graduated in Government Law College, Tiruchirappalli. Then I came to Chennai for my practice in the year of 2001. As an advocacy, I practiced well and I worked hard for the uplift of the women's and poverty-line peoples. So then I was able to accomplish, after 2 decades of year, that my dream of Group A officer, Deputy Registrar of Trademark and GI in the Controller of Patent and Designs. So, because I have touched the success and accepted my levels as experience and my lessons and losses. And that have helped me treating out to my present with flying colors because all my experience and lessons only. So I am saying because, however, this society treats you, don't take in your mind and heart, and continue working hard, one fine day you will get a flower crown on your head. That is very important for women, I think so, and students also. But what exactly is a women empowerment? When a women are given authority to handle their personal, educational, and professional life, given equality in society, the ability to force their voice against violence in the definition of women empowerment. But in a country where gods that are idols worshipped in a female, but in the same country, 1 out of 3 women has experienced physically and sexually violence at least once in a lifetime. That is our fate. So the change should be brought. Things won't change in a day, but every single effort can improve the condition. You can think, what can I do? I am a student. What to do? But if you help a needy woman, by any means it helps uplift of the women, that is enough for us. Okay? But remember, educate a man and you educate a individual. But educate a woman and you educate a family. Women can achieve anything in the world. Women just need a pair of wings and she can fly high on her own. Thank you so much for this great opportunity. Wish you all the best, guys. Okay.
Thank you, ma'am. It is said a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a little step, with a single step. Thank you, ma'am, for taking this huge step to be with us to share your journey of 1,000 miles. Very inspiring and challenging indeed. It is a sheer joy to honor our chief guest, Mrs. B. Kyle Willie. I request our dear director, ma'am, to now honor our chief guest. Let's give a loud round of applause. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Moving on, I now call upon Ms. Deepa, second year CSE from SSE, to give a brief introduction of our guest of honor, Mrs. Ambal Saravanan.
I'm extremely happy to have this opportunity to introduce Ms. Ambal Saravanan as the honorable guest of honor on the occasion of International Women's Day 2023. Ms. Ambal Saravanan is a HR strategic leader with Intellect Design Arena Limited. She is an engineering graduate with gold medalist in BE Computer Science from Bharatidasan University, MBA from ICFAI University, and workplace coaching for brain-based conversational skills from Neuro-Linguistic Institute. She started her career as a developer, then rose to the position of IT head. She has performed various roles such as project manager, strategic manager, training head, startup advisor, leadership coach, HR transformation leader, HR director. Over the last 28 years, she has worked in companies like Franklin Templeton Mutual Fund, Polaris Software, Standard Chartered Bank, and Design Intellect Arena Limited. She has been instrumental for 3 copyrights. Her white papers and case studies have been published in PMI India and global firms. She has paved the way for a new way of project management in PMI Global Conference. Ambal is a growth catalyst, HR thought leader who elevates organization and people. She is a curious leader, writer, motivational speaker, a people's person passionate about developing people and loves interacting with young minds. We are honored to have you with us today to share your insights and experiences. I'm sure that this interaction will be an enriching experience for all of us. With that, I invite Ms. Ambal Saravanan to come and address our eagerly awaiting audience.
Good morning. I loved the energy when we walked in. We don't see the energy now. Can I hear it again? Good morning. Wow, that's it. Very good. I am a dreamer. How many of you are dreamers here? Okay. Okay, how many of you like to do a time engine? What I'm going to do is, I'm going to press a time machine and I'm going to take you to 2030, right? I press it once. Now I'm taking you to 2030. And this is the same auditorium. You would have finished college, you're all working, or you've started your own business or doing something. The college is called those who are working and who set up their business to walk in, and you're all coming in, right? And I stand here and I get to see the image that 25% of the auditorium has got chatbots, okay? Now I press the button again. I take you to 2040. 2040 again, there are few more people who've moved from the back bench to the middle bench to the front bench, and there are people who are aiming to even come onto the dais and share your story. And now I see the audience. 50% of the audience has got nanobots and chatbots. And the college has set up a horticulture, vertical horticulture kind of a podium here, which has got nanobots to be sitting there. That is where we're heading, my dear friends. Right? I come from IT and I come from HR. I do a lot of research about what is happening in the engineering and IT and talent space. And this is something that we thought when Google came, this is what is going to happen. The latest one is a ChatGPT that is going to happen. Right? If you've not tried your hands on ChatGPT, it's amazing. Just go and do a prototype all by yourself. You can get a project done through that. You can get a code written through that. You can get a speech written through that. You can create a project through that. That is the pace at which technology is doing. One example to share about the pace at which technology is going. Right? ChatGPT got launched probably within a quarter. And within the quarter, there is so much of recognition across the globe. And what they did was their company called OpenAI created a machine learning for years, and they did till September 2021. Right? Within a quarter, there is a competition that comes from Google. What is the launch from Google? Equivalent competitive product? Brad. Right? They used a Lambda platform, and they came up with Brad, and they said, my AI is not as old as September 2021. As people are entering data into Google, I can get the context and give you the answer. If somebody wrote an article 10 minutes back, my Brad can go and pick up that and give you as an article anywhere across the globe. So that is the pace at which technology, and the first technology, CGT, right, was acquired by Microsoft. And today morning, I see Einstein GPT is coming in. That's today morning news. Today's news, if I had prepared yesterday, I would have become old. I had to see what is happening in the technology space today morning. So if you're going into the technology space or into IT or into coding, that's a pace at which things are changing. So what is needed? How do you make yourself thrive in this competitive environment? Beat up with the machine. At the end of it, we are humans who are inventing the machines or the ChatGPTs or Googles of the world. How do you thrive ahead of the machines that are going to be emerging in the industry? That's a very different problem that all of you guys have in the next decade. That's the reason I did a time machine, and it was just an example to visualize what's happening. Now I'm going to give you the solution. How many of you like stories? We've finished the dream, now we come to story. Okay. Any of you like parrots? Nature? Okay. Good. So a couple of minutes, I'll tell you a story. There was a king who went and visited a lot of neighboring places. Those days, they used to visit different places, and they used to get a gift. This king got 2 Mako parrots that was gifted to him. They were so beautiful, he wanted to see it every day. So he came and gave to his people and said, put it on the tree that's closer to my palace. Every day morning, he'll come and open up the window, and through the palace, see the parrots. And for 2 weeks, he was observing a pattern, and he was looking at a lot of people as well. One of the parrot was flying very high above the palace, and it was a beautiful scene. There was one parrot which was going around the branch in the tree alone, repetitively. He said, okay, maybe I'm just missing it. Again, next day, he opens the same scene. One parrot is flying all over one parrot. Both of them were gifted to me at the same time. How could two parrots behave differently? So he was curious. He called the trainers. He called the healers. He called the courtiers and said, why don't you solve this problem? I want to make the second parrot to fly. Why is it not flying? The trainers came, the healers came, they all did some research, they tried to do something with the parrot they couldn't do. Then he was thinking, it's a curious problem to solve. What do I do differently? I've called all the people whom I could do. Then he realized, maybe the parrot is close to the habitat. Let's me pick up somebody who knows the habitat better. And he said, call a farmer and ask him to look at this problem. He didn't know what happened. He just gave the direction. Next day morning, he opened the window. And to his surprise, both the parrots were flying all over the palace, above the palace. And he was so astonished. How come till yesterday I called so many people they couldn't solve? So he said, call the farmer. I want to find out what he did. How did he make the second parrot to fly? So the king called the farmer. The farmer came and he said, yes, Majesty. And he said, how did you solve the problem? What did you do? How did you make it? And the farmer was so humble. Sometimes the solution did not come from very intellectual people. He was so humble. He just put his hand down and he said, Majesty, I cut the branch. So the parrot was sitting on the branch, and it was in the comfort zone. So it was not going anywhere. It was going around the branch. The moment the branch was cut, it didn't have a place to sit. It first tried to go around the tree. Then it realized in the air, when you have to fly high, it was so interesting. And it started flying high, flying high. Then the next day, it started flying along with the other parrot above the palace as well. My dear friends, the same happens to all of us. The opportunities are equal. Like the 2 parrots, it's up to us to see what is the energy that is there. Do I want to be like the first parrot, or do I want to go into the comfort zone of my parents, my professors, my college, my friends, and stay in the cocoon? The first, it's a limiting belief, like how an elephant assumes it's tied by the rope. It is not the rope that is holding the elephant, right? It's an elephant which has got conditioned that if my leg is tied to the rope, I cannot move from here. The same way, first thing that you all go from out of college into the corporate world is to make your mindset open, saying, where am I heading, right? How do I open up my energies? How do I have a broader vision and not stay cocoon, oh, I will be with my mom only, I will work in the office 1 kilometer from my house so that I have mom's food every day, right? These are the kind of things that we're hearing in the next generation, is to first open up the mindset. Next, we said you have to get a seat and you have to come back to the auditorium 20:35 when your professors are calling you. So what do you have to do? A, B, C is a simple formula from my personal life for 25 years of career. I'm going to share with you what is this A, B, C, which is going to help you thrive 10 years, 20 years, 30 years from now. First, A. And I'm going to give you some examples of leaders or women leaders whom I've looked up to in the industry as well. A is for aspiration, right? A very good example, or the place that you're all in, is because Dr. Veerayan had a vision. He had dreamt about something 30 years back, is why this empire is created, why you're all studying. So there is somebody who needs to have an aspiration of where I am heading, where I want to go. A good example, again today morning, which is coming up in a lot of places, is this lady called Shiva Chauhan. She's from Gujarat, and she is the first army officer who was deputed in the first week of January in India to handle the glaciers, the place where the fight happens between India and Pakistan. 3 months she was given on deputation, very young woman. She looks like 30, 35 probably. I don't know her age. But first of all, she had the aspiration. From the childhood, she lost her dad at the age of 11, but she always wanted to do something in the army. And she was a single child brought up by the mother, and she came All India rank #1 in the services exam in 2020, and she proved herself. She had to go through a lot of resilience testing. Would anyone have imagined a woman, and that too from India, being positioned as an army officer in the highest plane, which is 15,800 feet above, between India and Pakistan? And today you can go and see, video has been released by multiple media today. Shiva Chauhan, you can go back and Google to see the kind of, she has to do ice walking, she has to do skating, she has to give direction. She can't say, I am a woman, I can't drive this, I can't walk up from here. That is because she had an aspiration that one day I will be a role model, that women can get into army and defense and go to bigger places. So it is up to you to decide what your aspiration is. Do you even want to struggle to get an entry into the auditorium of getting a place, getting a job? Do you want to be the backbencher? Do you want to be the middle bencher? Do you want to be in the front runner? Or do you want to come and share your story here, right? 10 years from now, 20 years from now, do you want your college to call you, like instead of all of us, call you guys and say, these are the alumni of Savita, and this is the heights that they've achieved? So that is A for aspiration. What is B? Guesses. Let's guess. What is a B that is going to help you to get to where you want to be? Brave. Okay, I hear brave from here. Anything else on B? Belief. Very good. First is the aspiration, or kanavu kanano. That is the aspiration. Next is the belief. Yes, I can get there. Anybody can think, I want to become the Elon Musk of the world. I want to become the Sundar Pichai of the world. I want to become the Shiva Chauhan of the world. But first is to have the belief, the self-belief that, yes, I can get there. That's the second step. And you create your own ecosystem of friends and family members and professors in the college to say that, yes, it is a belief. Anything that you do, I've written 3 copyrights I've done, and I'm working on a $1 billion idea in the HR industry right now. Initially, whenever you come up with new ideas and bounce off with people, people will think it's a stupid idea. They'll laugh at you, right? When you have a bigger aspiration and you have a belief in your idea, people are going to laugh at you. That is a sign that your idea is unique, right? That is when you need to move forward with 200% energy that, yes, my idea will work. I will have the right kind of mentors, and it is easy to go up to the 90th percentage and drop out. The belief has to continue to the 100th percentage till you achieve your goal. So that is the belief, right? And I came across an NGO that I worked with called Soul Free. And this was a lady called Preeti Srinivasan. She was a cricket captain of Tamil Nadu, under 18. And around 21 years or so, she went to Pondi one of the days with her friends. She fell down. The moment she fell down, she couldn't walk across. She couldn't move her body at all. Only below her neck was immobile. And she had so much of energy. She was a prodigy child of India, and she had so much of energy. She was bedridden for a couple of years. And then she said, she saw a lot of girls with disability being given poison in the ecosystem. She said, there are no people to take care of these people. They are seen as a liability. I have to set the souls free. I have to do something about it. And she started a trust called Soul Free. And I had the opportunity to work with her in the NGO. She got Kalpana Chawla Award. Tamil Nadu government gave her a 20,000 square feet of an old hospital. During the COVID days, I used to interact with her. In the wheelchair, she would press the button, go from her house to in Tiruvannamalai. She was setting up the hospital. She was ordering the cement to the brick, talking to the officers there, helping people during the COVID time. We all were stuck within the house, and she was going there with a belief, and she has set up a 20,000 square feet first rehabilitation center for the spinal cord injured people. 50 or 100 people at a time can go and stay there, go through the spiritual journey, get a livelihood, and move out. That is a belief that I can't even move. She can't move from the bed to the wheelchair or wheelchair to the bed. You can see her videos. She's done TED Talks. She's got so many awards. Perspective, right? Perspective and the belief. She said that she went to Stalin, she went to Edapadi, she went to all the government officials, and she got all the approvals. The government went and gave the certificate of approval in her house. That is the way. During COVID days, she used to travel all the way to meet with the government officials to get, even if you have to do one company, you know how many departments you'll have to work with. That is the belief that somebody says, I want to change the world, you can change the world. You know what, when I was working as a volunteer, she used to say, let us create a SOP so that somebody else in India wants to replicate this. We were designing what would the hall look like, what would the beds look like, what is the infrastructure, how would the bedroom be, how can people go to the terrace. All that she wanted to document it. She said, if somebody wants to replicate this model elsewhere in India, I want to create the book and then give it to them to be able to replicate. That is the belief. If you want to do something, you have to have 1000% belief in your own self, and you have to carry it till the 100th percentile of the time, till you touch the goal. It's very easy to go up to 90. Most of the innovative ideas, if you see somebody would have gone till 90th percentile, they didn't have the perseverance or the grit. For women, a grit is a lot more required, and they would have dropped it. Somebody else comes in, within 3 months, they pick up the idea, which is 90%. And that's how you see the startups becoming a unicorn overnight. It's somebody's idea. They just didn't have the last mile perseverance or the grit, and that's why they lost it. Those who had the energy and the belief went on. So we saw A is aspiration, is about the goal. B is about the belief. What is C? Confidence, okay, very good. One more. Anything else? Courage, very good. Capability, good. Sorry? Captaincy, okay, very good. Leadership, you can convert into leadership also. I'm glad that I'm not hearing CGPA, right? CGPA, from HR, we go to so many campuses and recruit so many students and see them grow up to an executive vice president in the organizations. I act as a coach as well. What we see is the CGPA that you look at in college or what you run for 4 years, I've done that as well, right? Is a gate pass to enter into the corporate world. The first year, they're going to open the door if you have a CGPA to enter into the corporate world. But after or to start their business as well. But after 2 or 3 years, what we see is there are people with a 9 CGPA who are struggling to become a team lead. There are people with a 7 CGPA or a 6.5 CGPA putting in a lot of effort and doing well, moving from the back bench to the middle bench to the front bench, and they're getting the awards during the annual days there. So your CGPA is not going to be your career badge. It is the entry pass to enter into the workforce, right? What is the other C that I'm saying? Is a differentiator. The reason why I talked about the bots and took you to 2030 and 2035 is because whatever is analytical and whatever is science will get automated, and any bot can automate it. So you need to go into the art form, which is the creativity. C is for creativity. How many of you love Harry Potter? Lord, I love them, right? If you have to take a broom and if I'm allowed to fly all over, I would love to do it. There is a lady behind the story of Harry Potter. She was one of the poor ladies called J.K. Rowling. Very normal background. She had a child and she didn't have a place. She was in state welfare, worked as an English teacher. When she was traveling in the train, she used to write. When she was in the cafe, she used to write because she didn't have a place at home, a luxurious place and a good ambience to do her writing. She did her writing for a living. As a single mother, she struggled. But first when she wrote, she went to 7 publications, they all rejected. She took 18 months to do the Harry Potter, and after 18 months, the 8th publisher gave her the chance, and today she's become a billionaire. Forbes has declared her as a billionaire, and she's given back to charity because she came from that background. She's given back to charity. So creativity will take you places ahead of the bots, ahead of everyone else. So I conclude with a couple of quotes. I'm passionate about Tamil, so I'll tell in Tamil and English as well. Abdul Kalam is one of the leaders whom I look up to. And he says, ஒரு நாள் நினைவில் வந்தால் அது கனவு, 2 நாள் அது நினைவில் வந்தால் அது ஆசை, பல நாள் திருப்பி திருப்பி வந்தால் அது லட்சியம். உங்கள் லட்சியத்தை நோக்கி செல்லுங்கள். Dream is not something that you see when you sleep. Dream is something that doesn't let you sleep. If one of the 8 of us have sowed a seed to not allow you to sleep, I think we've made justice for being invited to address all of you on a Women's Day. Thank you all.
Thank you, ma'am. They say empowered women empower women. Thank you, ma'am, for enlightening us and inspiring us to break our mindset and on giving us the ABCs, aspiration, brilliance, and creativity, the message of hope and inspiration. Keep shining and spreading the message of inspiration, ma'am. A strong woman stands for herself. A stronger woman stands up for everyone else. Thank you, ma'am, for being that strong woman, stronger, for standing up for so many, and today for standing up for us. We would now like to ask our dear director, ma'am, Dr. Ramya Deepak, to now honor our guest of honor, Mrs. Ambal Saravanan. Let's put our hands together to thank her. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. We will now have Ms. Nitya Shri, second year CSE, SSE, who will now introduce our second guest of honor, Mrs. Jayaprada Ganesh. Yes, Nitya Shri.
Good morning, everyone. I'm here to give a brief introduction on our guest of honor and distinguished speaker, Mrs. Jayaprada Ganesh, Scientist G, Additional Director, Information Technology. She has an experience of 25 years in sophistication such as microcontrollers, IT infrastructure access control system, teleoperation, artificial intelligence, and cyber security. She is currently with the Combat Vehicle Research and Development Establishment. She speaks multiple languages such as English, Tamil, Hindi, and Saurashtra. She completed her BSc and MSc at Madurai Kamaraj University and MS at the world-renowned BITS Plani. She has received awards such as Copyright for Fax Flow Automation Software, various technology leadership awards from CVRDE, many technology groups awards from CVRDE, Science Day Oration Award from DRDO. She has set aside time to be here with us and inspire us by sharing words of wisdom. With this, I would like to welcome our guest of honor, Mrs. Jayaprada Ganesh, to deliver her speech. Please, ma'am.
Respected dignitaries on the dais, and my dear friends. Why I call you friends? Because friends, we connect well, isn't it? Yes or no? Right. So today, first I would like to wish everyone a happy International Women's Day. This year, the UN has given a topic for IWD, that is Digit All, Innovation and Technology for Gender Equality. Okay, this is the title which is given by UN for this year, that is IWD 2023. So first, let us see what is innovation for gender equality. Is there any gender difference with respect to innovation? I see there's nothing. It is equal. So innovation is equal for men and women. So women are in all walks of life. If you take research, medicine, space, army, navy, air force, you mention any field, they are in all fields of life. Recently, I had been in Aero India 2023, where they were flying this LCA, Tapas, and all those things, all those aircraft, big, big aircrafts. And it was being maneuvering in the sky. It was roaring in the sky. It was a real feast to the eyes. So when it had come down to the ground, we saw 2 people coming out of the aircraft. One was a man and one was a lady. So there was no difference. Both were so good in their performance. So we can say that there is no difference between men and women in this International Women's Day. I would like to mention few of the women stalwarts. Rosalind Franklin, she was important in finding out the structure of DNA. Janet Taylor, she was inspirational in navigation. Dorothy Hodgkin, she was instrumental in finding out the structure of insulin. Having told this, I come from Ministry of Defense, that is DRDO, Defense Research Development Organization. This consists of 52 labs throughout India. Okay, so in this, around 7 labs together, they club it and they get a Director General. So in this, there are totally 7 Director Generals throughout India. Out of that, 4 are women. Almost 4 are women. So one among them is Madam Tessie Thomas. She is called the Missile Lady of India. Okay, she was the project director for Agni 4, which is an intercontinental ballistic missile. Actually, it goes from one continent to another. Long distance surface to surface missile, she was the project director. You will not believe, she commands like anything. She is more than a man. She commands and she is able to control, and she has executed the entire project within the given timeline. And similarly, we can see Madam Ranjana. She is also a Director General, and we have Madam Suma Varghese. And similarly, I was also involved in the flying of Tapas Ristom 2 aircraft, which is a long endurance aircraft. So we had been working day and night for establishing the software in that particular aircraft and testing it to the highest standard of DO 178B level A. It was really a nightmare. And early morning around 3 o'clock, we should be at the ATR. That is the test range. We have to be there and we have to do the testing. Full of clouds. So they told testing cannot be done. It was our first flight. We don't know what will happen to our software. We were just keeping our fingers crossed. Then what happened? Maybe around 9 o'clock, slowly the clouds got dismantled, and then we were able to fly. You will not understand the joy which we had when we saw the first flight. It was really a marvelous one. So I want every one of you to experience such challenges in your life. See, you will be able to take a lot of activities, a lot of job in your work. But in everything, think different. Mathi yosi. Always think different. And see that what is the challenge you can take in your life. Ladies, I would like to tell you, we are born to take challenges. We can take challenges. So I request everyone in any walk of life, please take challenges and try to break it. And that day when you break it, what is the joy you get is the one which you can never enjoy in any of your activities. Next, I would like to tell a small word in Tamil. Madharai pirappadarkku madhavam seidal vendum, told by Kavimani Desika Vinayagam Pillai. Yes, ladies, we should be proud to be born as a woman. We are multifaceted, is it not? Yes, I would like to tell, they used to colloquially tell, if you tell a secret to a lady, then it is spread, it multiplies. Yes, I do agree. Everyone must be thinking why she is agreeing to that. Yes, if you give money to a lady, it multiplies. If you give education to a lady, it multiplies. If you give work to a lady, she gives work to 100 people. So you give the right thing to the lady, she will multiply it. Why you are giving the wrong one? So that is the main thing. Coming back to the future research, Sintoya, she was helpful in making the life longer. Nina Tandon grows bones. Sumitra Gupta, she has worked in infectious disease during COVID-19. The next topic is technology in gender equality. See, what is technology? See, education is not, we are all educated, fine. But we should see the remote people, the ladies in the remote areas, they get education. We should work for it. We should have online classes, online platform, and see, the education is not to teach them from first standard, just to educate, to be in this digital world. Everything is digital. So to help them how to work in this digital world, to make them financially independent. They should be able to earn on their own and do what they want to do. And more important is technology should be used for our safety. There is one app called Kavalan. Everyone should have installed those apps because it is going to help you in your safety. Well, having said this, generally they used to say, behind every man there is a woman. I agree that. I also say that behind every woman there is a man. If you take W-O-M-E-N, behind that W-O there is a man. So men and women should always go hand in hand. That is my policy. And men are physically strong, yes, by virtue of their birth. I agree that. But women are mentally strong. They are multifaceted. You go to the kitchen in the morning, you see a mom, she'll be having 10 hands. She'll be doing so much work in all the areas. How is it possible for her? So I would like to say that if both men and women go hand in hand, it is success. Coming back to women empowerment, do you feel that women empowerment is only education? Educating us? No. Women empowerment is not only educating women like us. We are here just because we have women maids at home. We have our mom, we have our sister, we have our friends who are supporting us. That is why we are here. So it is our responsibility to empower them and support them and treat them at par with us and ensure that they can live up to their fulfillment and contribute to the betterment of the society. See, you take your mom, you are now very well versed in your mobile, isn't it, in your smartphone. I have a mom who is 77 years old. She doesn't know mobile phones, she doesn't know smartphones. So I just got her a smartphone, just taught her what to do initially for some 1 or 2 days. The next week she is teaching me. So she has so much experience in that. So what I tell you is, just respect the other women employees who are at your home. Respect the women maids with you. Respect your mom, your sister, your friend. Teach them. And I would like to tell the real success of International Women's Day is, today you take a pledge to empower a woman in your life who is with you and see that they are able to achieve what they want and see that they are able to that is, lead their own life without anybody's help. That is real International Women's Day. Today you take the pledge, and next IWD, if you ensure that you are going to achieve one lady with a women empowerment, that is success. That is International Women's Day, in my point of view. So with these few points, I would like to end with my favorite Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. Like Madam had told, when women are empowered, they can transform their families. Yes, you just empower one woman in the family, they will transform the entire family. Then that family will transform the community and then the world. So with these few words, I would like to thank our director and the management, Savita, for giving me an opportunity to be among you. Thank you very much. Jai Hind.
Strong woman in you. As said, here's two strong women. May we know them. May we be them. May we raise them. You sensitized us, ma'am, with practical solutions and practical thoughts. Thank you, ma'am. We would now like to have the honor of honoring our guest of honor. And our dear director, ma'am, will now honor our guest of honor. Let's put our hands together. We now embark on the most important session of this program, the panel discussion. We would like to ask our dignitaries on dais to please take their seats on the first row. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, today in Nalliyarangam, on the occasion of International Women's Day celebration at CIMATS, we have thundering personalities of global and international and national renown, proud to say 5 revolutionary, dynamic women. A women's exclusive by women exclusive. We now move on to the event of this day, the panel discussion spearheaded by these global women leaders. Ms. Sonu Himani, Senior Partnership Officer, India, Global Engagement, King's College London, will be the moderator of the panel discussion. Ms. Sonu, a versatile go-getter with a zeal and enthusiasm for work, creativity, and dynamic delivery, a thought leader, design thinker, versatile, and ever ready to take up challenging tasks. She exemplifies by her career record. Having started early at the British Council High Commission, Ms. Sonu has evolved and blossomed at different levels and grown by her exposure to various departments within the organization. She has supported international research collaboration and enabled student and academic partnerships and mobility between universities, governments, industries, and key partnerships. This is just a gist of this woman of substance. We welcome you, ma'am, to take the dais. On the panel, we have Dr. Ms. Ponni Consasso, founder and principal architect, Ponni and Oscar Rahul Architects, Chennai. We welcome you, ma'am, to the dais. Born into a family of professionals, architect Ponni Consasso graduated from the illustrious Church Park Convent, Chennai. Her degrees at Cornell, at Harvard, at the University of Milano, at the University of Malaysia, as she's come back to work in Chennai, along with her architect husband, Oscar. She has designed versatile projects, and she is a patriot. A round hand of applause. The next panelist is Ms. Nishit Chowdhury. Ms. Nishit Chowdhury, can we have you on the dais? Is the Investment and Trade Commissioner for the India Gulf region at the Western Australian Department of Jobs, Tourism, Science and Innovation. Ms. Nishit and her team work to attract investment and increase trade into Western Australia from South Asia and the Middle East. This is a proud moment to have you here, ma'am. Joining the panelists, we have Mrs. Gunit Singla, Director Business Growth, Uncle Sam's Kitchen Group. She's found the way to a man's heart, which is through the stomach. Mrs. Gunit Singla is a name that resonates hospitality in Chennai. Since 1997, Ms. Gunit has successfully been running South India's most popular outdoor catering company, Uncle Sam's Kitchen. We welcome you, ma'am, with a round of applause. She takes her position, as ma'am said, side by side with her chef husband, Chef Sameer Singla. Last but not the least, joining the panelists on the dais is Miss Yvonne Nitimoa, a new Scholars Bristol and Bath University Research Fellow. Now an academic advisor in the University of Creative Arts, Ms. Yvonne supports the International Admissions Department with portfolio and academic provision to all the departments at the university. Ms. Yvonne Nitimoa was the British Council Social Impact Award finalist 2017. Let's give a big round of applause as Ms. Yvonne Nitimoa takes the stage. Welcome, ma'am. Without stealing more time, I now hand the stage to our moderator, Ms. Sonu. Ms. Sonu, the stage is yours.
Can you all hear me? Excellent. Very good afternoon, everybody. I can hear that all of you are excited for this panel discussion. Are you all? I'm so honored that I'll be moderating a session with such eminent panel members here with me. When I was just getting introduced to them, I was thinking that, okay, they have achieved so much in their lives. What is it that I cannot speak about them? So without ado, I'm going to introduce everybody one after the other, and they would also be speaking about their thoughts as to what they think about the Women's Day, and then we will get into the question and answer session. So without ado, Dr. Ponni. Dr. Ponni Consasso is the founder and principal architect of Oscar and Ponni Architect in Chennai. She's been instrumental in achieving award-winning projects from institutions, technology parks, apartments, shopping malls, to hospitality, including Telangana State Secretariat. Their firm is involved in the Prime Minister's Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana project. She was National Institute of Technology, Trichy's first undergraduate female student, having received a Distinguished Alumnus Award for the Golden Jubilee celebration from His Excellency Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, former President of India. She is the recipient of Honorary Doctorate in Modern Architecture from the University of Malaysia and Honorary Doctorate in Modern Architecture from the University of Milano. She has received over 153 awards, both nationally and internationally. Dr. Ponni recently received the Women Icons of Asia 2019 Award in Singapore. Very welcome to you, Dr. Ponni. You may want to speak a few words about the Women International Day.
Good afternoon, everyone. On the outset, I'd like to thank Savita University for giving me this wonderful opportunity to address such a magnificent, dynamic set of women. Truly happy to be here. talking about my journey, I started off dreaming in my mind a master plan when I was a very young student, 8th standard in Church Park Convent. I had 3 simple goals. I wanted to get a professional degree for some reason, travel the world, come back to India, and indulge in nation building. So the minute I finished 12th standard, I had the entire family telling me, listen, it's time for you to get married, and a husband will then decide your fate. So I had a tough time fighting my community, fighting my family, and luckily I had one man who stood up for me, and that was my dad. My dad taught me 3 things. Never ever kneel to a man. Never accept a simple, a decision on someone else's norm, The only way you can achieve that freedom and independence of thought and action and true empowerment was to get yourself a quality education. Nothing like the power of knowledge, girls, I can tell you that. So to do that, he permitted me to study in NIT Trichy. And it's a funny story. I went to pay my fees in NIT Trichy, and someone said, are you coming to pay fees for your brother? So I said, no, it's for me. And so they said, go home. This is not a place for girls. I didn't accept their answer, so I met the principal who told me, listen, we'll get your husband from NIT Trichy. Please go away. And that's when, again I say, the power of knowledge. I know the Constitution of India, not that much, but a little bit. So I said, look, I'll take you to the courts. This is against the Constitution of India. There is something called gender equity when it comes to education. So I was admitted in, one girl among 3,000 very hostile boys. That was a great experience for me because that toughened me for the journeys ahead. I went on to Cornell University, Harvard University, picked myself a global education, worked in the United States. I would urge every girl here to please, please travel abroad. Don't sit in your comfort zones. It's only when you go abroad you realize where you stand on the global stage. I learned 3 things in the American workplace. One is the power of knowledge again, gender equity at the American workplace, the nuances of global business. Today the world is so globally linked, okay? And the 3rd thing that I learned was there was nothing wrong in standing up and demanding your rights. Absolutely nothing wrong. So having said that, I married Oscar, my senior in New York City, moved on to India, and today we are doing all kinds of projects, including the new space center, the Gaganyaan Space Center in ISRO, in Sriharikota. We've done projects all over India. I've mingled with women in different strata of society. It's been an enlightening experience. And, we won 160 awards, which is great. The crown jewel of our achievement is the Telangana State Secretariat. I would invite every one of you to come to Hyderabad and take a look. We were selected by the great Chief Minister of Telangana, Mr. KCR, who's a great champion of women's rights. I don't know how much of you know it, but he's a wonderful man. So we've done a lot of projects, and I hope to do more. My message to you today is fight. Fight for your rights. Don't be shy about it. Use education as your tool, your weapon to go get ahead. And I can tell you one thing. If you contribute positively to society, you make money for your family and your business, every man in the globe will respect you. This is my message for you today. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ponni, for your inspiring words. I would now introduce you to Mrs. Gunit Singla. Mrs. Gunit Singla is the Director of Business Development at Uncle Sam's Kitchen Group. Gunit Singla is a name synonymous with hospitality in Chennai. She's been running South India's most popular outdoor catering company, Uncle Sam's Kitchen, with her husband, Chef Samit Singla, since 1997. The group is now in its 25th year and has 7 different F&B brands that cater to different market segments. She is a Silver Award winner in trekking and mountaineering and enjoys a variety of sports such as athletics, yoga, and basketball. She is a lively and spontaneous MC who lends her voice to a variety of social causes, including breast cancer awareness, health, and education initiatives for girls. Mrs. Gunit Singla, we welcome you, and over to you, ma'am, for these few words.
Thank you. Thank you, Sonu. Hello, everyone. To start with, all those hands which are up, can you put all your hands up? Can you put your hand out and touch the shoulder of the person sitting next to you? And tap, because you need to pat them for being at Savita College and for getting education, which is so important. Yes, you are very privileged. You're sitting in a college which is named after a woman. So it shows how much respect is given to women in this college. It is not by chance that you are here. There is a plan, a cosmic plan, which is happening, and you are a part of creating your own destiny. When people ask me to talk about my life, I always feel that my life is like an ECG graph. Yes, it goes up, it goes down, it goes up, it goes down. And that's what it's been. I'm one of the 3 sisters born to a very affluent family in Kanpur in UP, born with a silver spoon in my mouth, and that silver spoon was rudely taken away because we were one of the worst affected in the 1984 riots after our Prime Minister Indira Gandhi's assassination. From a palace, I saw having no house. I didn't even know we had parents because we did not know we were hiding in a small 10 square feet bathroom of a neighbor. From there, I saw my father build up the empire again. And I saw with stars in my eyes of how every adversity is an opportunity. I also saw my mother stand strong, tall at 4'11". She was a tall lady, just at 4'11", supporting my dad and letting him rebuild this. Our family allowed us to study. I went to the prestigious Lady Shri Ram College in Delhi, went on to do my MBA, joined my father in his business, fell in love, yes, just like all of you, fell in love with a chef husband. Had the confidence at a very young age, had the confidence to follow my dream, had the conviction that I'm going to be like a tea bag. You put me in hot water, I will still give out flavor and fragrance just like tea does. And that's what I did. The day we got married, that same day, we got a telegram in 1994 that we were transferred to Sheraton in Chennai, reached here, picked up a job with J. Walter Thompson, or HTA, which is then India's most popular advertising agency. For some reason, they put me on the Citibank account. No other woman had ever been put on the Citibank client servicing account. What they told me was, only the smartest go there. What they did not tell me was, the city never sleeps, and nor will you. I would go to office at 9 in the morning and come back at 2 in the morning, wondering how I was climbing the corporate ladder very beautifully and very fast. But I started to think that when I have a family, which is what I want to have, how am I going to be able to do this 9 a.m. to 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m.? At that moment, I decided roti, kapda, and makan can never go out of fashion. They are needs which are going to be there forever and ever. So I jumped out, left my corporate job, and in 1997, Chennai's hospitality scene was at its infancy. There was not even a pizza available. Today, we have hundreds of options of bringing them home. I started a company called Uncle Sam's Kitchen, and slowly and gradually, despite not being a hotelier, being an MBA, I actually realized that if you have the conviction, the confidence, and the collaboration, you can go faster and longer. Uncle Sam's Kitchen really followed the heart. We started with catering from home, and today I have a 15,000 square feet central kitchen, which McKinsey has complimented as the best backend in India for outdoor catering. Along the way, I hired my husband. I told him, come work for me. Come work for your wife for the rest of your life. And he's a happy man. But I would say that behind every successful woman is a man who's very supportive and also an ecosystem which she makes for herself. So invest in relationships with your mother, with your mothers-in-law, with your sisters, with your maid servants. They will be your lifeline, with friends who you can understand and leave your children with when it need be and help them. Collaboration, collaboration, and collaboration is the only way forward. Do it with care, do it with confidence, but along the way, make sure you're taking others along. So that's me. From today, I'm going to call myself Ko-Guneet. I heard about robotics, and I heard about cobotics. Everything nice has got co in front of it. Cooperation, collaboration. So with that, that's me signing off till I come back to you later. Smile on.
Thank you, Mrs. Guneet Singla. It was very inspiring to hear your story. Moving on to Ms. Yvonne Nityamoa. Ms. Yvonne Nityamoa from University of Arts, London, London College of Fashion. Yvonne's PhD is in contextualized higher education in fashion pedagogy. And she is a New Scholars Bristol and Bath University Research Fellow, now working as an academic advisor at the University of the Creative Arts. Yvonne advocated for the establishment of the first West African creative institution. In addition, she's the chairperson of the Board of Fashion Ghana and the department head at Radford University. She has led projects that have received several prestigious awards, including 2019-20 Gucci Design Fellowship Award, the 2017 Glitz Fashion Award for outstanding contribution to fashion, the 2015 Affomod Fashion Awards for the Best Tertiary Fashion Department, and the 2014 Ghana Fashion Icon Award. Yvonne was a finalist for the British Council's Social Impact Award in 2017. Welcome, Yvonne, and please share your thoughts and few words of wisdom with the students.
It's a great honor to be in your presence today. I'm truly humbled by your very well welcome. And a big hello from a very cold England. I am so happy to be in the warm embrace of India. I just want to share with you a few thoughts on women empowerment and what that means to me personally. You've heard about some of the things that I've done in my life, and I think my most successful, or the highlight of my life, is being able to impact on young people like yourselves and their lives. I now have alumni in New York, Rome, and Paris, and I hope for you that one day your institution will be able to celebrate all the many successes that you will have around the globe. University of Creative Arts is where I am right now, and I hope that there will be a lot of collaboration and linkage within your learning and the university. So in terms of female empowerment, I was given some questions, but they are so much part of my speech that I just want to enhance what I want to share with you today through the questions. So in defining female empowerment, I want us to think about the 5 components of women empowerment, which are self-worth, right to determine your own choice, access to opportunity and resources, power and control of your lives both inside your home and out of your home, your ability to influence the direction of your social, economic order, and also education, training, and building your self-confidence. To enhance this, how do we build this and how do we actually achieve this? So in women's equality, we find that that is a state of the right to opportunity. When you're in an environment where opportunity is available to you, then you are able to take that opportunity and rise. So within that, we have life choices. And these life choices are endless through gender equality, disability, and race. So regardless of any of those things, we should be able to rise. The three types of opportunities are political, social, and economical. So when we ask what qualities makes a woman empowerment, I would like to share with you a little of my own experience. I've always found whenever there's a gap in my learning, that leaves me feeling very unconfident. So I'm asking you to analyze yourself. You know yourself best. No one is perfect. We all have our flaws. So analyze yourself and what your flaws are and make a real effort to get that gap and fill that gap with that knowledge that you feel you are lacking. Once you fill that gap with that knowledge you are lacking, impact on the person next to you. Share that knowledge. By sharing that knowledge, you then build what? Confidence. The more you share that knowledge, the more confidence you build. The more you practice, the more confidence you build. It's like a musical instrument. The more you play it, the better you'll become at playing it. There's a female psychologist, researcher in Mexico called Dr. Diana Ibarra. And she's done a study into women and deprived women from deprived areas. And with her analysis and her research, which was published in 2012, she has highlighted just what I'm talking about. She analyzed women, and she realized that when women are asked to look in themselves, look at the context of where they're coming from, they actually can identify the issues and how to fill that gap for themselves. And in fact, they didn't need scientists and social psychologists to come in and impact on their lives, that they were able to do it for themselves simply by being analytical about their own lives. So please, I urge you tonight, when you go back home, ask yourself, what is it that I'm missing in my life that will lead me forward, that will push my vision on? Do not sit and wallow in self-pity, thinking, little old me, how can I have the impact that I want? Remember that every journey starts with a little step. Do baby steps towards your vision. Have your vision, which is your long-term vision, but have small-term goals, the little steps that will lead you there. And within no time, you will realize, one day you'll wake up and you'll be on a stage like this and you'll think, how did I even get here? Thank you.
Thank you, Yvonne. Our last panel speaker, Ms. Nashid Chowdhury. Ms. Nashid Chowdhury works for the Western Australian Department of Jobs, Tourism, Science and Innovation as the Investment and Trade Commissioner for the India Gulf region. With over 2 decades of experience in economic development, investment, trade across the state, Commonwealth and local government, Nashid, a Monash University Master of International Business graduate, has worked in a variety of industries. She has also worked with tech startup business in the fields of cybersecurity, financial services, transportation, construction, science, and innovation. Nashid has extensive experience managing offshore networks assisting business growth, leveraging state and Commonwealth government programs, and attracting investment from around the world. Welcome, Ms. Nashid Chaudhary, and over to you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, and thank you to our friends from Savita for inviting us here. And happy International Women's Day to everyone. Thank you. So going back to ma'am's speech, I was so inspired. How many of you are the bird that was rotating? Can you put your hand up? 1, 2. The bird, the parrot story that ma'am was talking about. How many of you were the birds that were rotating? You? And how many were flying? So my journey, not many? Not many are flying? Not many are doing anything? No? So my journey, I guess, started off with where I was very rotating. I was in a structure, and I just kept turning around and around. And then one day, there was someone who actually cut that branch off, the farmer, who came from no intellectual background, not from a family unit, not from anything. But that individual taught me to fly, and that moment taught me to fly. And it really did strike me. You know, I came from a family where my parents, they went as international students to Australia many years ago. They got married, and they started their entrepreneurship venture. But you can imagine, from a colored background going to Australia in those days, it was very hard to build up business. That cross-cultural relationship was really, really hard to build. And I could see hours and hours of building up that relationship where, you know, it took them a really long time to get the traction, and now they're exporting over to 25 years. But what I learned from my parents was never say never. Everything is possible if you put your mind and your vision to it. The structure around another point in life that really affected me was I started working for a local government. And during that time, I was sitting across the table with a fellow colleague, and this was a female colleague. And she was sitting next to me, and she's like, "It's great you've come this far, but this is as far as you will go." And she said, "There's no career growth for you. This is where you'll be standing." And from that point, it really struck me. And these are the moments, which are bittersweet moments in your life, but they push you to work harder. And they push you to also strive for that achievement and that excellence. I guess my story or my point to you is there's a few things. Coming from a place of love is really important. You need to be able to come from a place of love to be able to share what your striving is to get to that next level. The second piece is brace yourself. You know, one thing I say to my team is put your seatbelt on. Those ideas that are stupid, they're the ones who can actually transform and grow things to the next level. And that's what we've been growing here in Chennai. 6 months ago, we had no office location here. We've grown a whole team, we've grown people, but that's because we're challenging the thinking. And when we talk about the farmer or you flying, the biggest piece is having that self-built. Being able to have that self-belief is really important. And I think that's been the crux of being able to fight what the normal status quo is. So I think I'll leave it with that. But I think 3 things. Come from a place of love with what you're doing, and give people golden bubbles of love where you've had a negative discussion or what have you. And I think that's really, really important. Brace yourself and follow your gut feeling. That's really important, that you follow your gut. When something's not quite right or something feels right, fight for it. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Nashid. So do you know what is the most toughest job of a moderator? Timekeeping. So I would request you that, as we go to the next session, I'll be asking you, each one of you, questions, but please, feel free to budge in if you want to. But I would be very strict in time, and the maximum would be 5 minutes. I hope that's okay with you all. Yeah? All right. Ms. Yvonne, I would like to start with you. According to you, define women's empowerment and equality. What do you think is the difference?
Well, as I said earlier, there is a breakdown of empowerment and equality, which I went over. But one thing I would like to stress for empowerment and equality is my own personal toolkit, which I live by, which is finding your knowledge gap or finding what it is that you are lacking that you feel that you're not empowered. So once you find your knowledge gap, you are able to plug that knowledge gap, practice, home in on your craft, become very skillful at it, whatever it is your interest is, and gain confidence in that area. Once you have that confidence, that is true empowerment, and that's when you can impact on your families, on your community, and the world.
Thank you so much. Anyone would like to contribute quick words into it?
I think women's empowerment is something very special because that's the only way a woman realizes her self-worth. Have the right to choose her personal life, who she gets married to, what's the kind of life she's going to have, and have the right to choose her profession. And thirdly, to pass on this empowerment to other women. In Western countries, I can tell you from experience that they have crossed that line. They've gone ahead with other things. They've had the right to choose. That's one of the reasons why those countries have progressed a lot more than countries like ours. In India, the good news is, and I would say that to all you girls, you're living in a very enlightened time frame. You can get up and say, look, Dad, Mom, this is not what I want. And they will actually hear you. They will not even say no to what you have to say. So I think we are living in an era of great enlightenment. Women's empowerment is there to stay. It should stay. And we should all become lawmakers. That's one other thing I would urge women to be. Please become lawmakers. Please create laws that will protect other women. That's my take.
Part of my career journey, and I'd share that with you. And I've mentored about 500 students, and the employability piece comes in very strong. So if you're looking for a scientist, ma'am is here. If you're looking for a motivational speaker, ma'am is here. So I think there's huge opportunities where you should reach out to someone, man or woman, and have that person to help work with you.
Thank you so much. That's really useful. I would now move on to Ms. Gunit Singla. Ma'am, how do we encourage more women to pursue careers in traditionally male-dominated fields?
Interesting. Well, all of you may think that hospitality industry has a lot of women. You'll be surprised to know that for every 4 males, there's 1 woman in the hospitality industry. When I started the business in 1997, everybody would say, Madam, we don't know any woman who has the guts to start. I said, really? I would actually go in my car in the middle of the night from T Nagar to ECR, which was then not like the way it looks today. Looking like a man, I'd make a little bun here and go speeding and come back speeding. From there to, I have 6 brands, Uncle Sam's, Samskriti, Corporate Kitchen, Sam Chacha, Telltale, and Gunsam Foods. All of these have targets of how many women minimum are going to be working there. And I'm happy to tell you that Sam Chacha, which was born in COVID, has 75% women who work there. The SOPs say more women than men. I'll tell you more about what Sam Chacha does, but in every 100 square feet outlet, there have to be a minimum of 2 women per shift. And that is what the SOP says. Nothing less than that will do. So we are the ones. I have women in washing, in the kitchens, a lot of women working from home, a lot of women coming from office, in stores, sitting on bikes. I myself can drive a truck, a car, a bike, all of that. And all the women in my office know whatever level they are, from a washing woman to a lady who's handling my sales and marketing, can walk in, she is safe, she can get somebody else, and that this office has a policy of having a patient understanding here. When you have a patient understanding here, you can be sure that this is a company which is going to allow more and more women to come in. So each one bring one. That's a policy which we have, and we follow that strictly. It's really empowering women from the grassroots levels till up. Each one bring one, whether it's work from home, which has become a norm today, to coming to work or driving a bike. I've got women drivers, and I'm so, so proud that women feel happy and safe and look forward to coming to work. So, empowerment at all levels.
That's really insightful. I think, you very well said, a woman helping another woman. A woman should fix another woman's crown, as we say. Panel members, would you like to contribute anything before I move on to my next question? All right. I would now go to Ms. Nashid Chaudhary. How do cultural and societal norms impact the empowerment of women, and what can be done to challenge and change these norms?
Thanks for the question. I think I'm just really inspired by what you just said. And when I got posted here last June, I came to an all-man team. So I've got offices in Chennai, Mumbai, and Dubai. Everyone were men, which is not a bad thing. Lovely men, don't get me wrong. So when I came in, I'm like, where's the diversity? I was the only female there. So we started actively recruiting, we grew our team, and I'm really proud that within these 6 months, we have a 50% women ratio across our team, and they are working women with children. And I think a big challenge that we have as a team or in our culture and society here is childcare. Provision of childcare has been one of the biggest blockages for my colleagues who are working with us, and I'm working with them on that solution. And I think collectively, that is a problem statement that needs to be changed. Like coming from Australia, it's a no-brainer. You've got policies, you've got frameworks, you've got childcare centers, you've got aftercare. And yes, you can have a nanny here, but often it's that cultural setback of, I can't leave my kids with my nanny. So, I think it's working through some of those issues that are actually blockages for women to take that leap. And I guess every day I challenge my colleagues. Just like your husbands are going into work, you're going into work. And I think I appreciate that about my husband. We share the load. And I think that's a very big part of what we need to do. We need to challenge the status quo, that cultural mindset, and look at how we actually enable that. Because trying to do a 9-to-5 job, or actually we do a lot more than that, you have to have those systems to enable you.
That's great, Ms. Nashid. I think, you hit the nail on the rock. As they say, the change happens at home. I think, it would have been useful if there were some boys as well here, ma'am, because they should also hear about, sharing the load and sharing the work. And institution is one place where everything is taught. As we say, charity begins at home, learning begins here. So with that note, I would now move on to Ms. Ponni. Ms. Ponni, what, according to you, you think that does the lack of empowerment leads to any exploitation issues?
Absolutely. This ties down to one very important factor called literacy. I deal with a lot of women in rural India and also in the urban lower middle class section of society. What I find is exploitation happens where women do not know their rights. They're not even aware that it's their prerogative to choose, So when there are zero laws, there are laws, there are good laws in our country, but there's something called effecting and applying those laws. So there are two sets of, elements, I would say, that are linked to lack of awareness and therefore exploitation. One is, public education. I'm talking in institutions, in government agencies, even corporate workplaces, that women and men, this leads to me another point. I think we need men's liberation movement more than women's liberation, because they need to know that it's wrong to impinge and exploit women, which is what is happening in rural India and the lower middle class sections of urban India. So that kind of awareness can be brought in by laws, can be brought in by public education. And I cannot tell you the kind of exploitation that goes on in our society today. Most of us belong to middle class and upper middle class families, and so we are protected. But that is not the case with poor women. So indeed, yes, there is definitely a situation of connectivity between lack of knowledge, lack of awareness, and therefore exploitation. Definitely there.
I think, yes, ma'am.
That's a great point, Ponni. I'd like to add to that, just taking your thought further. Occasions like today are very, very important in having a collective group of women from your organization or from your college to understand their rights and it's a great time to be a woman actually, because from the government grants to the kind of loans and whatever else is happening around us, the ecosystem is great. But do you really even know about it? Women from grassroots levels have no clue to what they can achieve and where they can go. So having weekly, monthly meetings where they understand what's in it for them, how can they improve, what are their rights, what are their duties, when to say no, and that means no to exploitation, are very, very important. So I think such forums should be encouraged, and one woman should help another. That ecosystem, that vibe definitely needs to create a tribe. And I think that's going to be very important.
I'm going to jump in for 1 minute here. How many of you know that 51% of Indian population consists of women? Unfortunately, in Parliament, we have only 10% of women and 90% of men making laws for us. You know, it is really sad. I would urge the next generation to get to be women politicians, sit in Parliament, fight for other women. That's the main theme of your, the panel discussion today. Empowering of women by empowered women. So please get out there, fight for your spot in politics. That's where you can make the real difference.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ponni. That was really inspiring. Now moving on to Ms. Yvonne. Ms. Yvonne, what qualities makes a woman empowered?
Do you know, I'd like to address the word fear. So I think fear can be a great barrier when it comes to empowerment. There are many things that I used to fear, that I still fear, but what I've learned is courage. I can do something that I fear a lot, but I've learned to look over the fear and just be brave and encouraged and go forward. This morning on my way here, I saw an elderly lady wearing a sari sitting on a motorbike, and I took a picture of her. And I was asked why was I taking a picture of her, because what that woman was doing was so brave. From the context of where I'm coming from in England, it would not be heard of. An elderly lady sitting at the back of the bike with her legs to one side, no helmet. It was just a complete no-no. When I sit in the taxis here, I'm looking for the seatbelt. I'm fighting with the seatbelt all the time because I've been conditioned to sit and belt myself in. And the fact that there isn't a seatbelt, I have a fear factor. What if I have an accident? What if something? And I have to address that fear straight away and sit down and just enjoy the journey, enjoy looking around India and seeing the people. And seeing that bravery of that woman and the fact that she doesn't even recognize her bravery inspired me. That there is such a thing as fear, and we all have it. But learn to rise above it, because then the doors that will open for you is unheard of. Once you can learn to control your fear, you can shine.
That's absolutely right, fear, and rise above the fear. Moving on, with the same context, I would like to ask Ms. Nishat Chaudhary, how can we empower women in India? How can we empower women in India? In India.
I think I have to say, when we talk about STEM and women participation, there's so much to do, but there is already so much happening. So it's about that concept of tapping someone on the shoulder and actually helping them. You know, that technology divide that's there, there's a huge opportunity to change that. If there's someone around you who doesn't have a smartphone, who doesn't have an iPad, who doesn't know how to use technology, my request to you is actually to show them. You know, I think that technology piece is a very big way of getting women into the system. And this is my biggest inspiration are my 3 sister-in-laws. So they're in Bangladesh. My sister-in-law, she got divorced, and she went and did a course in e-commerce. And she runs one of the most successful sari businesses today, where she's directly working with handicraft men of 4th generation. She's empowering them. She's a social influencer in Bangladesh, and she did it just out of her computer desk in the flat that was in our home. You know, and just to grow that, and the number of employers she's created, that concept of e-commerce and being able to create your own entrepreneurship journey is really important. It's also being a part of an ecosystem. You need to surround yourselves with your women tribe. And I think that's really important, where you can surround yourself in that comfort zone and then fly from there. Use that as your launching pad. So I think that's probably the key things. And the other thing is, guys, please learn to connect and be present. I think that's really important. You never know, there might be that one word or that one sentence that could completely change your life. So when someone is connecting with you, make that connect and embrace that moment.
Absolutely right, Ms. Nashid. You know, you said connect with each other, create that ecosystem. And I think, you know, the message of today's panel discussion is also, you know, create that ecosystem, guys, for yourself. Moving on, I would like to ask Mrs. Gunit Singla, what advice would you give young women who are present here to aspire to be leaders in their field?
What advice will I give? Well, I have 2 kinds of advice. Just like in a coin, you have 2 sides. The first side is you, yourself, I, me, myself. In India, we think investing in yourself is terrible. It's narcissist, it's horrible. But it's not. I'm work in motion. I'm learning a little every day. I'm getting a little bit more courageous every day. I'm learning knowledge every day. I'm investing in my health every day. I'll be happy to tell you I decided to go on a diet and lost the weight I needed to so that I could be in better health. I could eat right so I could teach my family to eat right. All that is advice to all of you. Please do not think leftovers are for women. If they eat first, that's very bad. No, it's not. Only if you are fully fed, fully healthy, can you look after others. So that's one, invest in yourself. Secondly, second advice is, if you go alone, you go only till a certain distance. If you go along, you go really, really far. So take people with you. And that doesn't mean only women in workplace. You could uplift the life of a worker in your home. You could be looking after your mother or your mother-in-law's mental health, or an aunt's who needs that confidence, who needs that hand-holding. Somebody who's gone through a bad marriage or going through a tough patch, reach out to them. Let them know that they're not alone. And going on at work, be empathetic. Understand the other one's issue, problem, put yourself in their shoes, and then take it forward. Only then can you be creative, have confidence, and collaborate. So look at both the sides of the coin, and that's the way forward is my advice. It can't be in isolation.
Absolutely right, Mrs. Gunit. You know, we have to look after ourselves before we look after others. Coming on to Dr. Ponni, everyone spoke about different qualities, how to empower, what the advice. I would like to come to you for what institutional and societal change you think that needs to be made to make women empowered. What's the institutional and societal change?
Okay, I have 1 or 2 words for it. There's a term called social conditioning. Social conditioning is what you tell children when they're very young. Listen, you're a girl. Please do womanly activities. You're going to get married, so learn to be adjusting. Learn never to talk too loudly. Have a certain way of behavior. And then you tell men, listen, you've got to spearhead a family tomorrow. Be assertive, be aggressive. So this kind of social conditioning, please reject it. Even as a mother, I would tell my son, you know, you will have to learn to share domestic chores with your wife, period. Life is a 50-50 partnership. Like Guneet said, be selfish and, I'm using the word selfish, not a good choice of word, but you have to invest in yourself, your mental wellness, your physical wellness. Don't please say, oh, my husband comes first, my family comes first. No, you come first in a very, very gender equal fashion. So I think it's important to reject social conditioning, believe in gender equality. Women's empowerment is in your head. You make your decisions. You have the power of conviction. I'm a great believer in God, country, career, and family. I parallel process these things in my mind, and I do it on a, a minute-to-minute basis. So I think these are factors that you need to, consider. And the last thing I would tell women is please fight for your rights. Don't feel shy about it. World has changed. It's moved on. And there's one other saying that I would like to share with you. It's by a French economist called Christian Lagarde. The more women in the workforce means the GDP of the country also rises. Remember that. More women, a more prosperous country India would be. We all talk about India being a superpower. That will happen only if India has 51% of its labor force as women, not 20% as it is right now. You are the future. Stand up, fight for your rights, but be a balanced person. Be somebody who thinks in terms of gender equity, gender equality. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Pony. That was really well said. Do I have any questions from the audience before I go to the rapid fire questions and sum up? Audience, students, do you have any questions? Yes. Can we have some mic?
Hello, ladies. Thank you so much for coming here today. Listening to all of you speaking, it was very inspiring for me. I'm a first-year biotechnology student. I want to contribute to the scientific community, especially in the field of stem cell and regenerative medicine. But ever since I was a kid, I've had this idea of starting my own fashion line. It doesn't have to be huge, doesn't have to have a very renowned name and all. I just want to start a small fashion line. It has to be mine, something that has come from me. How do I do it? What steps should I take? Can you please guide me in the future?
Anyone, panel members, who would like to go? Yeah.
With fashion, all I can say is the fact that you've got the passion and you've stood up to ask the question, that's bravery in itself, so congratulations.
Thank you, Mom.
What I would like to add is the ideas that you have in terms of your culture, your traditions, and your vision of fashion, start sketching them down. No idea it's silly. Brainstorm every day, keep a notebook of ideas and keep writing them down. You will have to understand how business works. I think where creatives fall short is that they focus on their creativity and their skill, and they forget that without the business element, you can't sell your skill. So have a business mind as well. Start looking into how to set up a business, what to do in terms of putting a business plan together. Don't be overburdened, and again, don't start fearing the amount or the volume of work that you have to do. Don't be over-analytical, because you'll see lots of obstacles, but have an attitude to risk, yeah? So if there's something you can do to start small, for instance, if there's a celebration happening and you think you can make one of the outfits, volunteer to do an outfit for somebody. If there's a celebrity that you know, somebody you know, and you feel you can do an outfit for them, volunteer to do that outfit. Sometimes you may not be paid for the work that you do, but it's all experience, and what I said, practice, making perfect. set up an Instagram account, because right now fashion exists on Instagram. And when you set up that account, start connecting with different fashion brands. Also plan the educational map for your fashion career. Make sure you get in as much education as you can, because as you're learning, you can input into your brand. I really recommend doing as much education as you can while you're young, and everything you do, I can assure you, will impact greatly into your fashion career. Once you are in education, always volunteer to work for other brands. Don't feel you have to be set up alone, independent, straight from the get-go. Learn from established brands. It's very, very important. And make the mistakes on their watch, because it's such an expensive business to be in. And I wish you all the best of luck. And if you ever need any support, contact me. I'm happy to help you.
Thank you, everyone. I would just like to add one thing, that the journey won't be easy. It's going to be tough. There will be a lot of failures. But remember, the spider also doesn't make its web overnight. It falls, it trips, it breaks, but it never gives up. So never give up the fire that you have in you, that you want to do what you want to do. Just do it.
I won't, ma'am. Thank you.
Anyone would like to add?
If I may, I'd love to get you in touch with WeHub, which is the first incubator that's sort of set up for women entrepreneurship. And they do some amazing work, because, again, it goes back to mindset. When you have women in business or women in workforces, and very true to what you said around the social conditioning, we sort of think about, oh, we can't do this, we can't do that. This job has so many criteria, we can't apply for it. So when a man looks at it, they come in with a very different attitude that, oh, I'll be able to give it a shot, I'll be able to put in an application, and they land the job on most occasions. So I think being able to go through that, which really helps empower you through an ecosystem where you can get the support. Money is never an object when your vision is there, you know, and I think being able to find those ecosystems where you can source funders, investors, and like Sonu rightly says, don't be afraid to muck it up. It's fine. We need to have a culture of where you can have failure, because failure is not really in the terminology. If you're not winning, you're learning, and it's a journey.
Let me just jump in. Remember, nothing in life is rocket science. Rocket science is a separate subject by itself. I wouldn't even delve to go in there. But speaking as a business person, it's important to have a roadmap. Important to understand who your target audience is. Important to understand risk management, what works, what doesn't work. Fourth thing I can tell you is you're going to make a billion mistakes. Make your mistakes, don't repeat them. And never perceive failure as something awful, because failure is a stepping stone to success. And least of all, surround yourself with positive energy. Never listen to naysayers. There'll be 1,000 people around you to say, oh, you're a girl, you can't do it. Nonsense. You're a girl, you can do it 10 times more than a guy. I can tell you that.
Great. Thank you so much. Any other questions? Okay. We have time for this last question, and then we get into a rapid fire question with the panel members.
Business was not being done in this particular fashion. The young lady who wants to start her fashion brand, I think it's very important that you have clarity of what fashion means to you, because that's going to be your strength. Also, one very important point to add is what's available in the market and what you can do which will create the difference. Are you adding to what's available, or are you going to hit the nail on the head on what's not? Because that will be your fast track to success. And definitely version 1 is better than version none. So go ahead, passion and fashion rhyme.
First of all, good afternoon, ma'am. A happy Women's Day for all of them sitting over in the dais. This is Siri. I'm currently pursuing first year from CSE department. Ma'am, what my question to you is, all of you are having a very good success stories which I have heard and which motivated me. I would just want to ask one thing. Everybody has failures, and even I know that you came across those failures also. At some point of view, we even get exhausted and we give up. And I want to know what, at point of view, you were about to give up, and what made you to not give up here? We want a story of that, ma'am. Everybody says success stories.
Let me answer that question. See, failure is part of life. Let me tell you this. There'll be 5 things that went wrong in your life, but there will be 10 things that went right. And why did it go right? Because you learned from your failure. There are times in my life where I almost gave up. I can tell you a time when in India, it's very difficult for single women to do business, not easy. I speak from experience. There was a time when my husband fell ill and practically died, you know. And I cannot tell you, I had my own classmates go and tell the entire world, don't give business to Pony, your husband's dead, a woman can't handle business. I almost reached that breaking point, but again I'm telling you, it's just the power of conviction in my mind. I said, the more men, especially men, tell me I can't do it, I will work 4,000 times harder to prove them wrong. But yes, there are situations where you face that breaking point, but your real success is measured by the fact that how you went over that breaking point, re-engineered yourself, and became a double success. It's sweet revenge, believe me.
I think that is sweet revenge. I think there's 3 things. I mean, it's about calibrating on what's going on. At that instant, don't take the action. You know, when you are exhausted, there are so many moments where I'm like, I'm just going to throw my towel in. I'm done. I can't do this anymore. You know, and it's actually being able to step back and actually take a breath, sleep over it, sleep over that point in time. And the other thing is you need to be, that self-love is very important, but it's also not only just spiritual and mental, it's physical. You physically need to be strong to take on the mental and the spiritual strength of moving forward. So I think that's a very big piece on how you can actually strive and fight back and bounce back. Like you're thrown into the water, you're like a cork, and then you jump back.
So I've really got a real life story with what happened with me. This is in 2010, I just lost my dad. And unfortunately, it was the 6th of April, can't forget that date. I got a call from one of my office staff saying, Madam, there's been some kind of a problem. We have 100 or 150 gundas with broken bottles, sticks, and all of that, and a court order. And they're evicting us right now. At that moment, we were catering for the Commissioner of Police. I brought it to their notice, but he said, if there's a court order, there's nothing that we can do for you right now. Everything that we possessed, our dreams, everything in our office, in our kitchens, was thrown, broken, battered, and bruised, and thrown out. My husband was visibly shaken up, on the verge of tears, but I had gone through a similar situation, as I told you, in 1984, and nothing deterred me. Again, I saw opportunity and adversity, bought 10 trucks, put everything broken, battered, and bruised in those 10 trucks, shifted everything to a large barren land which we possessed, set up our kitchens, set up this was our kitchen, this was a cutting area, this was a washing area. I had invested in relationships with my tribe of people, from suppliers like electricians to Shamiana, Pandal guys. Everybody came in half an hour's notice. And from that barren piece of land and broken, battered spirits of my team, we got hot food going for them. And I'm so happy to tell you that the next morning, this is happening at 10 o'clock at night, we're doing the shift, and the next morning at 6 a.m., we catered for 1,000 people Seemandam from that particular area. So there is nothing that we can't do. Either I could have said, why me? But I said, try me. And it worked. So have the confidence and make sure that things will fall in place if you need them to. Adversity will come. It depends on you how you turn it into opportunity. That same patch of land has become the central kitchen I told you about. And every corporate or everybody who's having a wedding, when they walk in there, they say, wow, is this a resort or is it a kitchen? I've never seen anything like this. And that's for you to live and learn.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much. I think that's very inspiring. And as Gunita was already mentioning, everything lies in your hand. You are the one who will make this difference. So take good care of yourselves. and believe in yourself. Moving on to the rapid fire questions, ladies. I'm going to ask you a question and the response is in one word. So what does International Women's Day mean to you? One word.
For me, it's courage.
Courage.
Empowerment, more empowerment.
Determination. Universality. Universal. We are different, but we are one.
One moment that inspired you to be who you are.
I think it's a person, my grandmother. She came from a very small village, and she was the only girl out of her siblings who were male. In her family, all the men were sent to school, and she wasn't. But she made her way to Britain and became very successful in the health sector. And she's still alive today. She's very strong and very strong-willed. And when she decides she's going to do something, she's very determined and she achieves it. And I think it's her ability to hear no, but don't let that no affect her in executing her vision. So I live by that. I hear you telling me no, but in my head, there's a yes, that I'm going to make it to that door.
Excellent. So that's your grandmom. How about you?
I've had two moments, and they are related to my role models. One is, this may sound a little ancient. I was very inspired when Margaret Thatcher became the first woman Prime Minister of Great Britain in 1979. It was a great moment. It was so inspiring. And the very next year, Indira Gandhi became the first woman Prime Minister of India in 1980. So these are the two moments that was so awe-inspiring. Then I can tell you a zillion other moments in my personal life, but this is something I really remember. Thank you.
Wow, that's really inspiring. How about you?
I think I could never pinpoint it to one person. It's my family, my parents, my husband. Everyone pins you or inspires you in some way. It's just that resonance and that persona. I think, the people I work with inspire me every day. And it's things that they say or do or action that they take reflective of their social conditioning that just continue to inspire me every day. So I could never pin it down to one person.
How about you, Ms. Guneet?
I'm going to say happiness. The happiness of catering for somebody's daughter's wedding, which is a once-in-a-lifetime moment, never come back again. The joy of a little cuttie's first birthday party. There's a very dear friend of mine. She lost her eyesight because of diabetes. Beautiful lady, just 50 years old, lost her eyesight. I sat with her and I said, you know what? There's something that you can do. And she said, Guneet, I'm a fantastic cook. I said, then we are going to go ahead and launch catering from home where you can supply to supermarkets. And she started supplying kebabs to supermarket. And we called her company Hospitality Beyond Five Senses. The joy of seeing her smile and feel empowered, I think that gives me the joy to continue doing what I'm doing.
Brilliant, Ms. Guneet. That was amazing. I would like to conclude this session with a short story. I think the story is going to summarize what all these inspiring leaders have spoke about today. So, you all like stories, don't you? Yeah? You all like to watch movies as well, right? Right. So, it's a very short story. Now, there was one stone, right? In a lovely, nice river. Have you ever been to the river Ganga? Yeah? So there was a very small stone, maybe, very pretty looking one. And the stone's name was Sitara. What's the stone's name? What does Sitara mean? Star. All right. So the story goes like this. Sitara was staying with her family members, mom, dad, sister, and friends. They all were living in a colony, like all of us do. Very happy family, get up in the morning, the water flows, the water goes out, they all have fun, they keep moving around, and, chit-chatting, doing their bit of work every day. The sun comes out, they'll all be waiting for the sun to come out. When the sun sets, they'll be waiting for the stars to come out. So the days were passing, the months were passing. Sitara was also growing. She came to a point, as she was growing, she was wondering, what is it like to leave this cave? Because it is such a beautiful cave that she was living in. She had everybody, she was in her comfort zone. But she always aspired, what will happen if I come out of this cave? What will happen? I want to see the real world. I want to see the flowers. I want to feel them. I want to feel the sunshine. I want to feel the rain. I'm just inside the cave. I just see everything from inside the cave. But I want to experience the things outside. Her friends, her family were like, no. You're not supposed to go out. It will just kill you. You're not trained to do that. You do not know what lies ahead. You might just drown. You're just a stone. You have to be inside the cave. This is your place where you need to be. Well, Sitara was hearing everybody, but she was just unhappy. She was trying to keep herself happy. One fine day, she just made her mind. She was like, okay, whatever happens, I'm going to go out and explore the world. I'm going to go out and explore the sea. So what Sitara does, she just comes out of the cave slowly. Nobody's noticing that she's doing this. She keeps moving, keep moving. Her friends suddenly realize, oh my God, Sitara is missing. Where is she gone? Where is she gone? Her parents come running, where is Sitara gone? And they see her going far, and she's waving to everybody. She's just waving. She's happy because she's feeling the sunlight. She's seeing the leaves. She's seeing the flowers. She's able to see what's underneath the water. Suddenly what happens? A huge gush of wave comes, and she suddenly goes thundering down. All her friends are shouting, see, we told you, don't do it. You still went ahead. Don't do it. You still went ahead. Everybody's frightened. Everybody's like, oh my God, Sitara is just gone. The waves took her. What happens next, Slowly Sitara comes out, and she's floating in the ebbs of the water. She's just floating, and she's smiling, and she's enjoying. And then her friend says, oh my God, look at Sitara. She's enjoying. We can see her from far. We are still here. What are we doing? My God, she's left a legend, huh? And she's out there. She's out there exploring what she wanted to do. She's doing what her heart wanted her to do. She's pursuing. She did not hear anybody. She did not hear us. We are her friends. She did not hear her parents, but she followed her heart. And what did Sitara do? She left a legacy. Because of Sitara, all the other stones in the colony said that they want to be like Sitara, and they want to see and explore sun, feel the water, and see the sunlight. So would you all want to be a Sitara, or do you want to be like her friends? So friends, all we are trying to say is that women empowerment, it lies in your hand. Follow your heart, follow your passion, give back to each other, be support to each other, collaborate, coordinate, be with each other. Learning starts from here. With this note, I would like to thank Savita University, Ms. Ramya ma'am, Deepak sir, and all the teachers, faculty members, vice chancellors, and my fantastic women leadership here. I've learned so much today, and I've learned so much from you all today. Thank you all for having us today here. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. And the panelists, that was a very intuitive, provocative, informative, and motivating forum. Let's thank our panelists and our moderator once again with a standing ovation. They do deserve a loud applause. Before we would honor them, as a change, please be seated. Before we would honor them, for a change as a mark of a new beginning to change, I would now hand over the podium to a Mr. Anto. Why would I ask a Mr. Anto? Guys, we are making space for you at the podium because tomorrow you will give us space on the stage. So this is a new beginning and of a new era. And before Mr. Anto would now deliver the vote of thanks, we would now like to honor our panelists. We would now request our Vice Chancellor to honor the moderator of this day, Dr. Miss. Let's put our hands together as our Vice Chancellor will now honor Miss Sonu. We've had a very informative and a very vibrant session. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir. I now request our SCAL's principal to come forward to honor our dear Ponni ma'am, Dr. Ms. Ponni Consaso. A big round of applause. A big round of applause, guys. Dr. Gunita Chandoke, honoring. Thank you, ma'am. I now request our SCAD principal, Dr. Jyoti Lakshmi, to come on stage to honor Ms. Nishit Chowdhury. A big round of applause for Ms. Nishit Chowdhury. Guys, I think this is the last time I'm asking you to applaud, because for the next one, I know you guys would show your patriotism and you would keep applauding. Dr. Jyoti Lakshmi. To Ms. Nishit Chowdhury. A big thank you, ma'am. I take the honor in asking Ms. Dr. Jyoti Lakshmi to also honor Ms. Ivan Nitimoa. Thank you. That was one time that I did not have to ask guys to applaud. I seriously love your patriotism, guys. For a change, and as a mark of a new beginning, Ms. Ranto, second year CSE, SSE, will now deliver the word of thanks. Mr. Ranto.
Thank you, ma'am. So, good afternoon, everyone. It's been a very successful, motivating program for all of us present here today. And it's an honor to be on stage on behalf of the organizers of International Women's Day 2023. I would like to extend a special thanks to our chief guest, Mrs. Kyle Wiley, and our guest speakers, Mrs. Ambal Savanan and Mrs. Jayaprada Ganesh, and every one of the vibrant and inspirational members of the panel discussion. Dr. Ms. Ponni M. Consaso, who inspired our regret that they have survived among 3,000 boys. Mrs. Gunit Singhala, thank you, ma'am, for reminding us for our college have named after a woman. Thank you. Ms. Yvonne Nitimoha, and our moderator, Ms. Sonu Himani, whose words of wisdom have truly touched our hearts and minds. Your inspiring message has motivated us all, change our perspective, and work towards empowering women. We spoke about a lot of unemployment, exploitation issue, societal changes, a change of cultural norms, advance in gender equality, aspiring to be global leader, encouraging women to pursue careers in male dominance field, and finally, the qualities that truly empower women. I would like to thank our Vice Chancellor, Dr. Shivaji Chararam, sir, and our Director, ma'am, for inviting such an eminent women leaders to enlighten us by providing worthwhile insights. We hope that our event has inspired and empowered each and every one of you to continue to strive for gender equality, justice, and equal opportunities for women. I would also like to thank all the volunteers and organizers who have worked tirelessly to make this event a success. Your dedication and hard work is truly appreciated. Finally, I would like to thank all the women in attendance today. Your presence and participation has made this event feel so special. You are driving force behind the progress we have made and the change we continue to strive for. We applaud your strength, resilience, and unwavering commitment to the cause. Once again, thank you for joining us in celebrating International Women's Day. Let us continue to work together to create space for women to thrive with freedom and achieve their full potential. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you, Anto. We hope you remember this day. We wanted our boys to be a part of this celebration. Our director, ma'am, wanted them to be a part of this celebration and deliberations since we believe in gender equality. And we want them to be a part of this discussion forum since the rise of women does not aim at the fall of man. We need each other, we respect each other, we value each other, and we coexist beside each other and share the world and life with each other. A world that surpasses all bias and all barriers. What an event it has been. As we heard from pioneering achievers and architects of this nation and its economy about the need for women empowerment and the how and the why and the agenda for promoting women cause and uplifting the downtrodden. With this, we come to the end of this program. This is the end of the program. But this is the beginning of a new era, an era of change, an era when women will first transform themselves and move forward to transform the world, one person at a time. This is a year of Nari Shakti, women power. Women have power and need to be given access to power. I would like to pen down this thought. Gone are the days when women had no power, no voice, no status, no education, no opportunities. Women of the past fought for these rights, fought for basic rights. They did not enjoy what they obtained after fighting the social system. They let us enjoy it. Today, we definitely enjoy much more than what they had. Our limits are broken, our boundaries enlarged, our horizons rising. It came easily to us without the need to fight. With greater privileges come greater responsibilities. The question is, do we sit on what we have and fight for more power, or do we put to best use what we already possess? We are receiving more than they receive. Are we ready to give back to the society, back to the country, more than what we receive? Are we ready to release? That is a million-dollar question. Let's empower ourselves. Let's arm ourselves not with arrogance and quest for more power, for possession. Our voice is never for dominion. It's for equality. Let's brace and face our destiny with grace and meekness, in love and kindness. A wise woman builds her house. The foolish tears it down with her own hands. Are the words of wisdom from the Bible. Being part of the educated population of women, let's strive for lending a helping hand to empower those lagging behind. If you and I can do it, who can do it? Educate your maid's daughter. Educate a woman, you educate a generation. We ask for equal opportunities. Let's start by giving equal opportunities to our fellow women. We do not compete with each other. We do not compare. We are here to run the race together, side by side, with our men folk beside, hand in hand. Unity is our true strength. Change starts today, starts with you and me. Let's act responsibly, sensibly and complacently. Our nation needs education women. So with a group of institutions are sowing richly into shaping the women leaders of today for a better tomorrow. Let's imbibe as much and gear up to spread the fragrance. A candle loses nothing by lighting another candle. Light up 1,000 candles before you burn down. Every one of you, you are special, you are unique, you are an inspiration, and you are a winner, you are a lioness. Let the roar resonate. Happy Women's Day. Long live womanhood. Long live Savita University. Long live India. Jai Hind. Let's rise for the national anthem.
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मागे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे
Please be seated till our dignitaries will leave.